Hello everyone! Today is module 3 of Unfuck Your Finances. So hello and welcome! Those of you catching the replay, let me know that you caught the replay. Give me a hashtag replay in the comments. I'm going to give Facebook a moment to notify people that we are live in case any of you want to hop on live with us. This is the last day of this training and I'm so excited to get to share with you guys today kind of how we get to start to shift. But I'm going to make sure that everyone's able to find us okay. I'm going to make sure that we're live in the group, that I can see comments. Say hi as you hop on. I'm seeing some of you join. Hello everyone. Welcome. Good morning. Well, it's morning for me. I guess it's 11 in the morning here. Happy Friday. How are you guys all doing? Let me know you're here in the comments. I want to make sure I can see your comments. And then we're going to dive in just a moment. But as you guys are hopping on and saying hello, let me know, how have things kind of been shifting for you? Have there been realizations? Have there been shifts? Have there just been things that you were like, oh man, I wasn't expecting that out of the, module 1 and module 2 journaling work? How has it all been going? Oh, okay, cool. I can see your comments on my computer. Cannot see them on my phone screen. Yes, hi Sue, hi Sherry, hi Leah, hi Jessica, hello. So glad you guys are here. I will be trying to keep an eye on your comments. Hi Alessandra, yay, so many of you are jumping on. I will try to keep an eye on all of your comments on my computer screen because today Facebook doesn't want to show them on the phone that I'm streaming on. So if I am slow or miss some of your comments, I apologize, but I will keep an eye out. Let me know what has been coming up for you guys. What's the biggest takeaway from Module 1 or Module 2's homework? What were kind of some of the biggest realizations? Any questions that came up around them real quick, because I can answer a couple before we dive in. I always say this before we hop on one of these trainings. I'm always like, oh, let's just take like 20 or 30 minutes. Because it's like essentially what I want to talk to you about is so simple, but then I end up going so much deeper with it, and then we end up chatting, and it's just like, it's always good, but we always go almost about an hour. So we'll see today, but I don't have a ton of complex stuff to talk to you about, but what we are going to go into today is really, hi Wani, hello. What we are going to go into today really piggybacks off of the Module 1 and Module 2 homework. And if you haven't done the homework, that's okay. You can still watch live or watch replay and then go back and do all the journaling, but I would recommend doing the journaling in the order that I gave it to you guys in. And of course, remember, those of you who have that resistance to journaling, try opening up a voice note on your phone and talking the prompts out instead of actually journaling them out, right? Hi, Woody. Yes, I'm so glad you get to catch me live. Yeah. Terry says, how deeply I have tied money to my success. Such a projector thinks. I know you're a projector, Terry. And it's been illuminating to start releasing that. It has caused resistance for me. Yeah. Yeah, there's so much. And that was one of the biggest things I realized when I started kind of living my design as a projector was, and this is actually what we're going to talk about today, so it's perfect. But when I realized what my signature theme was, and we're going to get into this for each type, but we talked, I think, in module 1 right in here about our not self themes, right? So, manifestors, you feel angry when you're not living your design, when things aren't flowing properly. Generators and manifesting generators often feel frustration or frustrated, right? And the energy's stuck. Projectors feel bitter and reflectors feel disappointment. And so I started realizing that I had tied so much of my metric for success as a projector especially, but I think we all do this to a degree, right? But I've said this before, for projectors, it's kind of a double whammy, but I tied so much of my success and how happy I could be because of how successful I felt based on the money that I was or wasn't making, right? So when my business had lower months, I started to think, I'm not successful, I'm not a good coach, I'm not good at what I do, I'm never going to be successful, or I'm not successful yet. And what that does, especially as a projector, is it keeps you stuck and invisible to other people, and then they can't actually see your zone of genius, they can't see the wisdom you have, they can't invite you to share it with them, and then you continue to stay stuck and unseen and unheard and unvalidated, right? And it's just so important to realize when we're doing that, especially as projectors, but this goes for everyone, when you're making money your metric for success, it's so important to realize that and catch it and then shift it. We're going to talk about what you do to shift that today. We're going to go even more in depth with that inside of the money matrix, so I'm going to actually put that in the comments now. If you guys still want to get in on the money matrix, we have over 20 women signed up now. Freaking amazing. I've barely promoted this, and we've had 20 women sign up in the last few days since I opened doors. So the link to join is in the comments. If you guys want to get in on Money Matrix, it's only $111, and I'm creating a customized blueprint for you of an exercise you get to do every day, a 7-step process to help you really get clarity on shifting your mindset, but then also on the aligned actions you need to be taking each day to call in more money. And then we're going to be going deep into that stuff with the modules in Money Matrix. Yes, I know. I'm so excited for Money Matrix. Yeah. I realize that I'm usually waiting for an invitation and not my natural responding action. Yeah, we can talk just a second, Sue. I have to kind of keep up with these comments. Keeps you stuck invisible. That's amazing. Yeah, I have to keep up with these comments because my computer doesn't show me all of them. Since they're not showing up on my phone today, but I will try to make a mental note to come back to that in just a second. But what we're doing inside of Money Matrix is, which you guys starts on August 17th, so you have plenty of time to sign up for it. But basically, what's going to be happening in there is I'm going to be giving you your own personalized. I'm looking personally at your chart, giving you a personalized money blueprint, basically how you are wired to really get into the flow of money and manifest more money. And what I'm giving you in that process is not just ways to shift your mindset every day, ways to get clarity around what you actually desire, and then also ways to get clarity each day on the aligned actions you need to be taking to keep you in balance with your energy per different aspects of your design. And then we're going into modules for you to understand it all, so you understand why you're journaling on these things, why you're doing these steps each day, right? And so I'm really giving you something that's really, I should be charging lots of money for it, but it's $111 for the entire thing, and you get support from me in a private Facebook group. It's a freaking steal. Next time it gets launched, it's going to be double the price or more, but the link is in the comments, or you can always DM me or tag me below if you want the info on the Money Matrix. I'm so excited. We already have over 20 women in there. It's going to be such a freaking blast. I can't wait for it to start in a couple weeks. Okay, yes. I know, I'm so excited to have you in there, Terry. So, Sue, I know you asked about that sacral response, that emotional response for generators. So we call it the sacral response, right? So we're actually going to be going into this inside of the Money Matrix because we're going to go into each design type, how to really live your design and really listen to your own internal guidance system, your authority, right? For how to make decisions, how to get to the money you want, how to call the money in, right? But really the big thing with generators and manifesting generators, it depends if you're talking about your emotional authority. Some of you will have an emotional authority. Some of you will have a sacral authority. But either way, whatever your authority is, you need to, as a generator or MG, be constantly tuning into your sacral center, that gut feeling, that full body hell yes feeling, right? That you sometimes feel in your gut or just intuitively, right? And it's just this kind of visceral reaction. And the thing with this is that generators and manifesting generators are always responding to life. So life is always bringing you things, and when it crosses your path, you're going to feel either lit up by it, right? Excited in that kind of gut, that sacral center, or you're just going to kind of feel blah about it or like a hell no, right? If you don't feel lit up by it, don't pursue it. If you do feel lit up by it, do pursue it. MGs, the thing is you have to kind of double check with yourself, right? You have to double check a day or so later, a week or so later, to make sure that you're still lit up by something, because you get a little bit more inspiration and a little bit more excited in the moment than just pure generators. So that's a very, very quick explanation. The only thing I'd also say on that for listening to your sacral center for generators and manifesting generators is ask it yes or no questions, or either or questions. It needs to be binary questions, right? So you can't ask a generator, where do you want to go for dinner? They're not going to fucking know. But when you say, hey, would you prefer to have sushi or Thai food for dinner? You just know. You just know which one you want, right? Or does sushi sound good for dinner? Yes or no, right? So, yeah. So really, we're going to be going more into the different authorities and how you use them in the context of manifesting money within Money Matrix, but that's just kind of the general overview for all of you generators and MGs. Let's see. Money seems to be such a source of love and connection for my family that I'm afraid making more means I will outshine, and my family security is broken, as well as my personal security blanket of knowing how to handle and what to expect with struggle. Yeah, and that's the thing, Jessica, and this is a good point. A lot of us really have an association with struggling, and that is kind of part of our identity, right? And also, this is completely unrelated to human design, but just the way that most human interactions go in our society is most people connect with each other just by complaining, right? And the struggle, and we're taught to kind of value struggle, right? So really, for you, what the big thing is here is understanding that really it's just about understanding that you've in some way identified and made this lack of money or struggle part of your identity, or the way that you relate to your family, right? If I'm reading your comment correctly. Yeah, so it's just something to kind of be aware of and start to question and be like, does this really serve me? How does it serve me? What part of me is this serving? How is it holding me back, right? And kind of going through some of those questions around day 2, around module 2, around those questions. Jessica might help you. Yeah, you're so welcome, Sue. Yeah, and I know, Alessandra, your husband's an MG. Yeah, need to check in a week or something. Yeah, you can totally check on that. I won't be going into detail on the gates, Cindy, I might be doing some of the heart center gates, just because that's where matters of money are processed in our human design chart. We are going to be going deep into the Heart Center and talking about that for each of your designs in the Money Matrix. We might go into some of those gates. Other than that, there's 64 gates in the Human Design chart. We do not have time to go through all those in a quick 4-week program that we're also covering some other stuff in. I am kind of planning on creating either some resources or an actual full-on program around all the gates and channels coming up in the next few months here, so you can always keep an eye on that. And if you guys want, actually, for those of you who don't know, if you found this group because some of your lovely friends invited you or you saw this on my personal page, this group is actually, the support here is actually going to be ending after today, right? So after today, like, this was a free program for a week. I'm no longer going to be in here answering your questions because usually that's something people really pay quite a bit of money to get access to me to do, but you can actually get that access for a month inside of the Money Matrix. If you join us, I'm going to be having another private Facebook group in there for the program where we're going to be actually, going through, and I'm going to be giving you all the support I can in that group, right? Pretty regularly, coming in there multiple times a week and answering your questions and giving you support and helping you work through the process that I'm giving you as part of the program and any of the questions you have that come up around human design and that sort of stuff. So it's going to be a really cool resource for you, and it's at a ridiculous steal of a price. But the support in this group is going to be ending. I'll no longer be really kind of responding to questions in here or giving advice in here, giving any sort of guidance. So if you want to come hang out with me and you're not going to be in Money Matrix, come join my Free Wealth by Design Facebook group. That's where I hang out most of the time online. This was just a group that I created just for this free 5-day program, right? So yeah, you want it to be on the money aspects of it. Yeah, so we will be, I will probably, be talking about the gates around the Heart Center within the Money Matrix, but I'm not going to be necessarily talking about all the gates in the Human Design chart, right? Let's see. I think there was a question about if I'm responding to homework. I do try to respond to everyone's homework that you post in here, but again, after today, I won't be responding anymore because this was like just a one-time kind of gift to you guys to have for this week of me supporting you in this space. So if you guys want to continue posting things, I'll probably check in early tomorrow morning and just kind of catch up with everything, but then after that, there won't be that support for me. I will leave this group open, though, at least for the time being, so you guys can continue to chat with each other. You can continue to watch the content in here. I'll leave the content, these videos, up for at least a few weeks, and I'll give you guys notice before I take them down if I decide to take them down, right? But you do get lifetime access to these no matter what if you join the Money Matrix, because at some point these will probably be taken down, though I'm not sure, but that just guarantees that you have ongoing lifetime access to this. But if I were all of you guys, I would screenshot all of those journaling prompts I gave you for each of the modules, and today I'll also post the journaling prompts in the description above and in the comments below after we wrap up. And I would recommend screenshotting all the journal prompts that I gave you each month, right? Or each module. Maya, if I didn't see yours, you can, I think I went through already and caught up on everything, so if I didn't respond to yours, go ahead and tag me in the comments of your homework, of your post, because I didn't see yours if I didn't respond to it already, yeah? So, because there's just so many people in here, and I'm trying to make sure I keep up with everyone, so if I didn't see yours, and that goes for anyone, feel free to tag me in the comments of your post, right? And go ahead and do that now so I make sure I see it today or tomorrow morning. Hey, Nicole. Yes, you're so welcome, Janet. Yes, my certification that I did, Alessandra, so I've done a bunch of different programs, a bunch of different trainings around human design. I can let you know where I actually got through my reader certification. I can, if you want to send me a DM, I can give you kind of the info on where I went through all of that. But it's really been kind of an amalgam of different, resources that I have kind of used and pulled together for my human design knowledge, though I did go through a traditional certification course, and if you want more info on that, I can always give you the info in a DM if you like. I feel like you missed some stuff. Like I said, all this stuff is in here, so, you get to continue to come back to this content over and over. I will let you guys know. I'll give you a heads up. I'll post in this group at least a week or so before I plan on pulling down this content, if I plan on pulling it down, right? But, all right, we're going to dive in. If you guys want to get on a Money Matrix, the link is in the comments. I will also be posting it again in the group, I'm sure, in the next couple days. But like I said, we already have 20 women there. I'm probably going to cap it at a certain amount because I am going to be giving personalized support and personalized, just those personalized money blueprints, for everyone. So really, if you want to get in, I recommend not waiting, because at any point I might cap it and close enrollment. But right now I'm still planning on keeping a lot of the space open in there. So yeah. All right, let's dive in, you guys. So today we're talking about plugging into the Money Matrix. This is kind of one small little piece of what we're going to be talking about in the overall Money Matrix program. But really what we've done, the first 2 modules of this free program that we've been doing of Unfuck Your Finances were day 1 or module 1, we got really clear on your limiting beliefs. We identified them. We got really clear on kind of the rules that you have around money and all the stories you have around money, right? And kind of brought some awareness to those things by kind of using your design to see where your biggest blocks might be. Module 2, we really talked about identifying why or how you hold on to these beliefs and rules, like why they're so, deep rooted for you, why you're kind of continuing to hold on to them. And again, like I said, this work here that I've given you, right, that I've given you in this free program, continue to come back to it. I don't think you need to do the journaling from module 1 and module 2 every day. That's excessive. We can honestly do more harm than good if we're always kind of looking at what we call our limitations, right? And so what I recommend is going back through this whenever you are really feeling kind of stuck around money, right? When you're feeling kind of blocked around it, when you're kind of feeling like there's something that you're coming up against that you can't break through, come back to the journaling prompts from module 1 and module 2, right? What I'm going to give you today in module 3 is we're really going to be talking about where to put your focus and how to kind of start shifting when you catch yourself operating from one of those limiting beliefs that you uncovered in module 1 or module 2, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. This sort of stuff, these prompts I'm going to give you today, I'm going to give basically 2 kind of prompts for each energy type today. Again, I'll be posting the comments or the homework, the journaling prompts in the comments below and in the description above. And the big thing to remember with these journaling prompts is these are the things that I kind of want you to be turning your attention to every day. So even those of you in the Money Matrix who've already signed up or are going to sign up, I recommend continuing to do the journaling from today that I'm going to give you pretty much every day. It doesn't have to be every day. Let's not make this a hard rule. And I really am usually very hesitant to saying you need to do something every day, right? Nothing's a rule, right? It's all arbitrary, right? But if you want to shift things around money, you have to be the shift, right? You have to change first. Nothing else can change around you. That goes for anything in life, right? So yeah, exactly, Alessandra. So the blueprint for Money Matrix it'll absolutely be your daily work. Or even, there's times when I skip my Money Matrix work, my own blueprint that I have for myself, I'll skip a day and then I'll come back to it the next day, right? And it's just like, it's every day or every other day for you. It's depending how much you feel like you want to journal and how much you like being in the process that I'm going to give you guys, right? I find that the process, I have my money blueprint that I've, been playing with for myself, that I created. Because I've created this whole system. This isn't something I learned from someone else. This is something that I did a lot of studying in human design around. I've done a lot of experimenting with it, and now I have created this Money Matrix blueprint system, right? My energetic blueprint for money, and what I need to be doing each day to lock in the healthier mindset around it, to that, wealthy, abundant mindset, and then also what I need to be doing each day to actually be living my design and taking aligned action, right? So this isn't just about the mindset around money. It's also about, I'm going to be telling you how to really be balancing your energy per different aspects of your chart, not just your energy type, right? And this is what we're doing inside Money Matrix. So it really is the daily or semi-daily, right, or semi-regular work that you're doing. And this stuff that I've given you guys here, come back to day 1 and day 2 of this program, or module 1 and module 2. As often as you need to do in the terms of when you're feeling so stuck around money, you don't know where that block is coming from, you don't know why the money isn't flowing to you, come back to those first few prompts. And then, if you're in Money Matrix, that's what you're kind of doing every day to really be plugged into the proper beliefs, the proper mindset, the proper action to really balance your energy and call in the money that you desire, right? So hopefully that makes it clear. And what I was going to say is even today, the prompts I'm going to give you today for day 3 are a tiny little piece of what we're going to be covering in Money Matrix. So those of you enrolled in Money Matrix, continue to do the journaling from today up until the program, right? And then you'll get your full blueprint from me, which is going to take it so much further. But even just doing this, like focusing on the prompts I give you today, almost daily, right, leading up to the program, is going to create such an amazing shift for you. And you're probably going to start to see things start to shift between now and the program. So this is almost kind of like your pre-work, right? So let's dive in. Really, here's the thing. This is kind of what the concept is, right? So we kind of talked about the way that I found that we identified the biggest tripping blocks for people with money from module 1 is looking at your kind of not self theme in your general design, right? So we talked about the not self theme in module 1 for each of the energy types. And I kind of listed them off at the beginning of this video, right? But now what we're doing is every time when you find yourself holding on to the blocks that are kind of coming from or create that not self theme within yourself, right? That anger for manifestors, that frustration for generators and MGs, that bitterness for projectors, that disappointment for reflectors, right? When you catch yourself, whatever your energy type is, falling into that emotional state, that state of being, that energetic state, that kind of indicates to you like, hey, you've kind of gotten off track. You're not living your design. You're not living in alignment with yourself anymore. You're falling more into where you think you should be doing things rather than what actually feels good to do, right? When you realize you're in that state, look at kind of like, why am I holding on to this, right? Kind of what we called covered. I can say words. Kind of what we covered in module 2, right? And then you come to these questions that I'm going to give you today, because what you're doing is when you have your attention on what's going wrong, right? When you have your attention on what's frustrating you or making you angry or making you feel disappointed or bitter, right? When you have your attention on those things, it's purely because you've put your attention in the wrong place, right? Sometimes it means you've also energetically committed yourself in the wrong place, right? But really the big thing is what's going to create the biggest shift is by shifting your focus, right? By plugging into a different set of beliefs, a different focus, and that's kind of what I call the money matrix, right? But what I want for you to do is understand, we're going to go through each of the energy types real quick here, and we're going to talk just a little bit about your signature theme. The signature theme is the flip side of your not self theme, right? So when you're not living your design, you're in your not self theme, right? Let me know if this makes sense. Let me know if there's any questions around the not self theme, right? We're going to be covering this again in more detail in the money matrix, right? As part of module 1, but you need to be flipping into your signature theme. And oftentimes the way that this is explained by a lot of people who teach money or human design is that they're often thinking like, I am not in alignment until I feel these things, right? Until I feel my signature theme. But really, I look at it more, and the way I've leveraged it more and why human design has worked so powerfully for me is that I have leveraged my signature theme, the sign that I'm living my design properly, as a focal point for myself, right? So instead of going, I need to get to this point where I feel like I'm in alignment, I instead go, okay, where can I shift my focus so that I get into alignment? Does that make sense? It's a subtle shift, but oftentimes the way that we're taught it in human design and the way that we're taught it in just manifestation and mindset in general is you're going to feel good, you're going to feel in alignment when you're actually doing all the right things. But really, you just do the right things so that it can bring you into alignment, right? Do you see how it's kind of just like a subtle, like different way of approaching it? So for you guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through each energy type. We're going to talk about your signature thing, and then I'm going to give you a prompt. And I'm going to give you actually 2 prompts that you can use to continually bring your focus back to what you should be focusing on energetically and where you should be putting your energy so that you can be really plugging into your flow of money, right? So let me know if that makes sense. Let me know if that's confusing. It's a lot of human design lingo, right? So for manifestors, do we have any manifestors on live? I think Davina's here. I think I see your little profile picture. Let me know. Let me know who's here, who's a manifestor. But let's see. Nicole says, I struggle with how to wait to respond. Yeah, so you're either a generator or MG, right, Nicole? So that's more of your strategy, and that's what we're going to be talking about in Money Matrix. I know you're in there, so that'll be really good. But your strategy is more going to kind of create some of the aligned action each day, and we're going to be talking about that inside of Money Matrix. But really, again, like I was talking about at the beginning of this, Nicole, really for you, when you're responding, it's more that you're just waiting to have that excited, lit up feeling, right? That sacral response feeling. Yeah, you're a generator. So you're waiting for your sacral sign to be lit up, to be excited by something. That's the response you're waiting for, right? You're waiting to kind of respond to life, right? With this lit up feeling, right? And we're going to go more into it in the Money Matrix, but that's kind of what you're waiting for. You should only be pursuing the things that actually create that lit up response in your sacral center in your body, right? Okay, yeah, Jessica's a manifestor, that's right. Yeah, okay. So, manifestors, your signature theme is peace. Because as a manifestor, you want to feel so free. You want to feel free to really just do what you want to do when you want to do it, right? You really want to feel free to play when you want to play, work when you want to work, and not have to wait for anyone to give you permission or the green light to go ahead and do things, because you are designed to be the person that sets things in motion, right? You're not really designed to be looking around and waiting for permission. And that's why in module 2, I had you manifestors ask, like, where have I allowed myself to be boxed in by these rules I have around money? Because oftentimes with manifestors, what I see is that you're kind of waiting for permission, whether that's from a certain person or whether that's from kind of something like a bigger concept or a rule you've made, but you're waiting for permission to actually get things going, to actually see the results you want. And for you as a manifestor, that's not how you're designed. You're designed to move so much faster, and that's why you're going to feel so blocked when you have these rules that say, oh, it's going to take me a long time to build up my business, or I have to wait for other people to want to invest in me, or I have to wait, it's like, or I'll wait for, Davina's here, yay! I have to wait for my partner to say it's okay for me to actually pursue this business idea I have, right? And we're going to talk a little bit more about how you really take action each day as a manifestor inside of the money matrix to make sure that you're acting in a way that's not going to ruffle feathers around you, but also allow you to move forward very freely, right, with your money making ventures and ideas. But the big thing that you need to be focusing on every time you find yourself feeling that anger or that feeling of being boxed in or not being free around money is you need to start shifting yourself to ask, like, what do I need to believe in order to feel more free around money, right? Because it's from that freedom that you're going to get that sense of peace, that you're going to actually feel more aligned with yourself. When you can actually start seeing money or your ability to make money or your opportunities to make money as very free and unlimited, that's when the magic happens for you, right? And that's where you need to be putting your focus of really, how can I be looking at money in a way that makes me feel more free in order for you to call it in, right? So the first question for you as a manifestor is, what do I need to believe in order to feel more free around money, right? What do I need to feel? What do I need to believe? What do I need to remember? What do I need to start focusing on in order to feel more free around money, right? And then the complementary prompt for this for you guys is, I feel free around money when I blank. And then I recommend with that prompt, just free writing. When do you feel free around money? When you spend it, when you receive it, when you get to make it when you want it, when it comes in while you sleep, right? Like, how do you feel free around money? When does money make you feel free, right? And starting to shift your focus more onto these things and looking for where these things are happening in your life is going to be so powerful and help you be more in the flow of it, rather than looking at what's not working and where you're boxed in and where you're waiting for permission. So let me know if that resonates with you. Let me know if there's any questions, my manifestors who are here and on the replay. And we're going to jump over to now talking about generators. So generators, your signature theme, and this is the same for manifesting generators, but we're going to talk in a little bit because you have a slight difference that a lot of people don't talk about that I've kind of found I work with mostly MG clients. That's who I attract. So generators and manifesting generators, your not self-theme, right, is frustration, because you have so much energy. You have so much energy that you need to be expending each day on the things that light you up, right? And when you're not expending that energy on things that light you up, instead if you're putting it into things that don't excite you, or you're feeling pressured to the point where you can't go pursue the things that light you up, or you don't think you can be successful at the things that light you up, what happens is that you feel that frustration, right? This is what we covered in module 1. But really, the big thing here is to remember that your signature theme is satisfaction. And this goes for both energy types, but I'm going to give you each your different prompts here because it's a little bit different. But for each energy type, remember, generators and manifesting generators, remember that your signature theme being satisfaction is because it's this sense of, and tell me, those of you who are generators or MGs on here, let me know you're here. But second of all, let me know, does this resonate with you? Have you ever gone to bed at night and you just feel so satisfied? You had maybe like a kind of long day of, maybe you were working, maybe you were out with friends, you were just doing stuff that felt so good to do all day, and you were probably, like being a little productive with it, right? But you were expending your energy in a way that just felt so satisfying, and you went to bed and you're kind of tired out, but you're not like burned out, but you're just kind of pleasantly exhausted, and you just go to bed and you're like, oh, that was so satisfying. Like, I feel so satisfied because you had a really satisfying day. You expended your energy. You let your energy flow doing something that felt good to you, right? Yeah, Nicole says yes. Yeah. Wani says, okay, Wani, what if you've never felt free around with money? Wani, I don't think you're a pure manifestor, right? Yeah, you're an MG. So that question isn't really for you. It's not going to resonate as much with you. But if you hadn't felt free, then looking at that first question of what do I need to believe in order to feel more free around money, right? But that's not really for you. You'll get your own MG questions. Yeah, generator here in first day, but we'll rewatch your Talk to Me Sister. I'm so glad. Yeah, you can go back and rewatch. Yeah, I'm so glad it resonated, Davina. Absolutely, the replays are here for you. Generator, yes. Okay. So you generators and MGs, that's when you know you're living your design properly, right? That satisfaction is just that sign from the universe, like, hey, you're doing it right. You're on track. Keep doing what you're doing, right? Yes, exactly. Alistair just says, I feel so satisfied after client calls and group calls or program calls. Exactly. It's just that feeling of going to bed and feeling like you did a good day's work. Whether the work was of good quality or whether you were helping people or whatever it is, you just kind of feel like it was energy well spent, right? And that's very satisfying for you. And so when you catch yourself feeling more frustrated, when you catch yourself as a generator or MG feeling more like, I don't, like I feel so blocked around me. I feel so frustrated. I feel so boxed in. I feel like I have so much pressure to have to make it a certain way, right? When you see those old money stories coming up from module 1 and 2, take a step back, and then I'm going to give you these questions that instead you need to turn your focus to, right? But again, doing this journaling each morning, I started off my journaling with like the prompt I have for the projectors on here each morning, and then I've now created it into this bigger money blueprint, right? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you're enjoying it, Wani. Yes, I love it. I've been having so much fun with this whole program for you guys. I can't wait for Money Matrix. It's going to be even more in depth and so much fun. I can't wait. I nerd out about human design because it really is such a beautiful tool for introspecting. It's such a beautiful tool for reframing things, right? And that's I think the power of human design, and also giving you permission to be all of you, right? That's why I love it so much. Okay, so generators, when you feel yourself feeling that not self theme of frustration, or feeling listless or bored or uninspired, or feeling like you have to people please, or you have to make money a certain way, or there's pressure on you to, make a certain amount, or to play by someone else's rules around money, or to follow the rules you've adopted around money, right? Whenever you're feeling those things, turn your attention instead to the first journaling prompt, which is, what excites me about money? What about money excites me, right? What about money excites me? Right? So this is for the pure generators, manifesting generators. I'll give you your questions in a little bit. But then when you get into that groove a little bit about journaling on what about money excites me, then your second prompt is, I feel satisfied when I think about how money blank, right? So I feel satisfied when I think about how money blank. And then just stream of consciousness go, right? So I feel satisfied when I think about how money allows me to pay my rent, allows me to live where I want, allows me to eat whatever I want when I want, allows me to buy new clothes, allows me to buy things for my children, right? When do you feel satisfied when you're thinking about money, right? I feel satisfied when I think about how money blank, right? So these are the things to be focusing on daily, right? But also to be shifting to anytime you catch yourself really playing by those old rules and feeling so frustrated and unaligned with it, right? Yeah, exactly, Alessandra. Yeah, I get frustrated when I spend time on things that don't light me up, like website stuff. Exactly, and it's because you're designed as a generator or MG to not be doing things that don't light you up. And sometimes in business, there are things we need to do that don't really excite us, right? Especially if we're not at a point where we can outsource everything, or if that just doesn't feel aligned. So the only tip I have for you guys there as generators or MGs, if you have to do something that does not light you up, either think about how good it's going to feel to have that thing done, and try to tap into a little bit of excitement around that, right? This isn't a perfect answer. It's just kind of a hack to get around it. Because ideally you'd be giving yourself more and more freedom and permission to only do things that light you up. But if you have to do something that doesn't, think about how good it's going to feel to have it done, or what it's going to do for you to have it done, or to actually have this thing completed, right? How is the end result? Is that something that's going to light you up, right? And focus on that end result. And then the other thing is you can try to kind of piggyback your energy. This is something I talked about with my Wealth by Design mastermind ladies in our module this last month, but I talked about with generators and MGs, again, if there's something that you have to do that you do not want to do something that lights you up first. And then when you still have kind of some energy left, wrap that thing up and then go into doing the thing you fucking don't want to do. And just kind of ride that wave as much as you can, and just to get that exciting, sparkly energy and take that into doing the things you don't want to do, right? Yeah. Yeah, Alexander said this is just the validation I need to start being more intentional with handing things off to a team. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's valuable for everyone as an entrepreneur as you scale up to continue to outsource things, right? And to continue to bring on new team members. And that's something I've been doing this year. But really, especially for anyone with that sacral star, so MGs, manifestors, or manifestors don't have it, but manifestors need that kind of extra support from a team, especially when you can get it. And then generators, right? Can you talk about having a job that doesn't light you up but brings in the money right now? It's hard to find the balance for me. Yeah, we can talk about that in just a second. Yes, this is what I was doing when I was drafting the contracts and templates. Yeah, exactly. You have to kind of ride that excitement into the things you don't want to do just to get them done, right? Or look at how is that going to feel so good when it's done? Why does that light me up? So the jobs that don't light you up, I know a lot of people are in that. Is there, can you look at the paycheck you get every month and what that does for you and how that lights you up, or the things that makes possible, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, the more you're going to be able to give yourself permission to move out of those jobs that don't light you up, the better. But I know that's not always an immediate option for people, right? So really the question is, what are the parts of your job that light you up? How can you focus on those things more? And also, how can you focus on the things the results and experiences that having this job affords you, right? And how can you look at those things and look at those things that light you up about the kind of ripple effects of having the job, right? It's hard because you do need to be lit up by what you're doing. If you can't find any aspects of your job that light you up, and you can't find any way to be lit up by the things that it affords you and gives you by having the job, then it's probably time to maybe look at finding another job, or asking yourself, how can I pull back from it or shift my responsibilities in my job, right? Things like that. Yeah, riding the wave of energy is so powerful. Yeah, exactly. It really is just like, it's a gratitude practice, 100%, Nicole. But I always think there is a way we can find to be grateful for things, and we can always shift our focus into gratitude, and that's so powerful and so potent. But sometimes it is just like, if you're so stuck in there and it's really miserable, or it's a really toxic environment, which was my work environment before I jumped full-time into my business, that's really powerful. Hey, Adina. A lot of traditional methods for building a business online made me feel boxed in. I have to work hard. I'm reading your comment, Jessica. I don't always know how to come about this in my way. So Jessica, I know you're in Limitless in my membership with me, and we can always talk about this in there. You're always welcome to post questions about this, because this is a really good question around manifestors, is feeling like, and this goes for everyone to some degree, right? But especially as a manifestor, you're kind of a minority. The generators and MGs kind of have the majority. You're so welcome, Nicole. Kind of have the majority in the world. That's about 70% of the world is generators or manifesting generators, those people who have that defined sacral center, who can just go all day, right? And so the issue with this being that really, so many of the strategies and rules we see out there are made by generators or MGs, and that doesn't really work for the rest of us energy types. And that's not to say all of the rules are all for MGs and generators. That's not true. MGs and generators, you have your own stuff to unpack, your own deconditioning to do, right? But a lot of the work mentality, a lot of the, energy you have to have in order to make a business successful per the generally accepted rules that are floating out there around online business, really cater to generators and MGs, because those are probably the people who created them, right? For manifestors, really for you, the big thing is remembering that you are going to be doing business differently. And this goes for everyone. We're all going to be doing business differently. This is why I love human design, because there's no one size fits all answer, right? There's no one size fits all answer. And the big thing to remember with being a manifestor, just because you don't need to wait for other people's fucking permission. All you need to do is inform them of what you're going to do and giving them time to catch up with your energy. So with a program or with a launch, talking about just teasing it before you even open doors, and goes, oh my God, I'm so excited about this thing I have coming for you guys. I can't wait to share it with you. And then when you kind of start talking about it, go, oh my God, it's going to be so powerful, and here's why. And just talking about it, teasing your offers, especially for a manifestor, is so freaking powerful, because you move so much faster than everyone else. Everyone else needs a chance to get on board with your offer and with your energy and kind of learn about it and then get behind it. And this, it's valuable for any energy type, but really as a manifestor, that's your bread and butter for marketing, really. And it's just, this is something we go way more into depth with in the Wealth by Design Mastermind. But really, that's the big thing to remember, is there's no fucking rules. There's no real rules. It's just like we said in day one of this program. There's no rules. They're all arbitrary things. They're all just things that someone else said and we all kind of just generally accepted as fact, but they're not fact. They're not laws of physics, right? They're not laws of the natural universe. And it's just, yeah, of course you're going to relate to me because you're also a manifestor, but it's like really just understanding that you can do business any which way you want and make it work. You can pick any you need strategy in your business, but you can pick any strategy you want and make it work. You just gotta make sure it works for you, right? It's all about just giving yourself permission to do it your way. When I started giving myself permission to not have to show up and work 8 hours a day, when I started giving myself permission to run whatever kind of fucking programs I wanted without doing live modules if I don't want to, because I had a lot of rules around, you have to do live modules or else people aren't gonna want to show up. And it's like, I don't always want to do live modules. Sometimes I want to pre-record them. And now I make programs with pre-recorded modules. Like Money Matrix, the modules will be pre-recorded, though I'll still be doing live Q&As in there to give support. But it's like, you get to be successful any which way you want, right? And it's the same thing with, like, you don't have to offer 4 calls a month for a coaching package. I offer 2 calls a month because I don't want to get on the phone every week, and I don't think my clients do either, because they need time to integrate, right? After week 4, we don't have anything left to talk about, right? It's all just questioning the rules and giving yourself permission to do it in the way that feels good to you, right? That's the most important thing. And the more you accept that as a rule and you adopt that rule, then the more it's going to feel better and the more confident you're going to have. And just remember, what feels good to you and what comes naturally to you doesn't feel good and come naturally to everyone else. So you're going to be naturally setting yourself apart when you actually follow what feels best to you, right? It's kind of a little rant for you guys. Let's get back to the prompts in a second. When I was happiest in my life in the past, before I fell down a poverty mindset hole, that was how I used to live, by focusing on the results that were fun after doing the boring shit. Yeah. Yes, Adina. Yeah, I think understanding that is what's going to make a difference for me to share, and wait for people to catch up with me. Yeah, and when you're waiting for people to catch up with you as a manifestor, go have fun. Go play, right? Yeah. Yeah, Adina. I know Adina's a past private client of mine. You're a projector, and you said I didn't work much yesterday, and I got a person in my inbox. And how many times did you tell me to chill? Yes, I always was telling Adina to chill 100% of the time on our Voxer chats, because as a projector, you have to fucking relax, and that's part of what we're doing in the Money Matrix program. Is I'm giving each energy type kind of the things they need to be focusing on each day, and for projectors, the kind of general formula for you that I'm going to be breaking down in more detail within the Money Matrix is you need to showcase your talents, your knowledge, your areas of expertise in a very public way, not in a focused on one person way, right? So you need to showcase your talents. You need to then go educate yourself some more on those things that you want to teach on, right? And just so you feel like more of an authority and feel more validated. And then you need to go relax and play. And when you find that right balance of those, which I'm going to give some guidance around that in Money Matrix, when you find the right balance around those things, everything flows. So it's so important. That's why I always say relaxing is productive and profitable, because it actually, without it, you can't live your design properly. You can't flow energy the way you were designed to flow energy, right? You can't receive money the way you were designed to receive money. So it really is, every time I go freaking relax, I have like 8 people in my inbox being like, hey, can you tell me about this program? Can you tell me about your one-on-one? Can you tell me, right? But when I don't relax and I push myself all week, I have way less people reaching out to me and asking for info. There's a lot of energetic concepts behind it and just logical concepts behind it, but that's it's an important thing. Yeah, I'm moving to 20-minute sessions, getting in and getting out. Yeah, that's beautiful. My coach does them, and I love them. I wonder about this with different energy types, too. Yeah, and part of this is, I think, because you have the MG energy, Alessandra, it might just be effective to go in and out and not be just kind of weighed down and bogged down by the details and by the length of time, right? That's a big thing with MGs that we cover also in my mastermind is, you need to have freedom and flexibility in your schedule. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yes. All right. I love you guys. Let's keep going. All right. Manifesting generators. We already kind of talked about how your signature theme is that satisfaction. It's the same as generators. But for you, the questions are a little bit different. So again, when you find yourself feeling that frustration, that, block around money, that feeling of like listlessness, uninspiredness, people pleasing, pressure, right? The question I want you to then shift to, right, because we're trying to shift you into feeling that satisfied feeling, is I want you to shift your question to how can I shift my view of money so that it feels more flexible or less rigid, right? So MGs, the first journaling prompt, how can I shift my view of money so that it feels more flexible or less rigid? The second question I have for you is, I am excited when I think about how money blank, right? So for you, again, just free writing this question and being like, I'm excited when I think about how money just keeps flowing to me. I'm so excited when I think about how money can be so easy to make. I'm so excited when I think about how money allows me to buy that car I want, or whatever it is, right? And just allowing yourself to get into that energy of it, to shift your mindset, to shift your focus to being more excited about money, right? And so it's a little bit different. Both generators and MGs need to have that excitement around money, need to have that lit up feeling of whatever they're doing to make the money. But I always find with manifesting generators, there needs to be a little bit more of that element of how can I be more free with money, right? And how can I be a little bit more excited about it? Whereas generators, it's more of a mix of being excited, but also being satisfied and being a little bit more stable and secure in it, right? So that's kind of the slight difference that I've found from diving into human design. It's not something that's really widely taught or a big distinction. It's a subtle distinction. But manifesting generators need a little bit more of that freedom and flexibility. Generators need a little bit more of that stability and kind of like safety to be them, right? Let me know if that resonates with you guys. Okay, projectors. Let's talk projectors. Who are my projectors here? I know we have a couple on the call. I'm a projector. I've told you guys that many times now, but projectors, like we were talking about at the beginning of this call, your not self theme is bitterness, right? So when people don't recognize your talents or your wisdom, you feel bitter. We covered this in module 1, right? But the big thing to realize here is that in order for people to see your talents, to recognize your wisdom, to invite you to share it with them and to actually receive it, right, is you have to validate yourself first. You have to see yourself first. Yes, Terry and Sherry are my projectors here. You have to see yourself fully first. You need to be seen and heard and validated by other people, but that will not happen for you until you do that for yourself. You have to fully see yourself. You have to fully allow yourself to hear your inner voice. You have to fully recognize and validate your own gifts and skills, right? And again, especially for projectors, remember that what comes easily to you does not come easily to everyone else, right? So that in and of itself makes your skills and you valuable. So the question for you projectors, because what we want to do is we want to shift your focus from that not self theme of feeling bitter, of feeling like, why the hell isn't anyone buying? I keep showing up and I'm doing all that things and no one's buying. Why aren't they fucking buying? Or that one person said they were going to pay me and then they ghosted. What the fuck, right? Like these are the projector bitterness vibes, right? And that's just showing that you're focusing on the wrong thing. When you're feeling bitter as a projector, you're focusing on the wrong stuff. You're focusing on the external validation because your signature theme as a projector is success, right? And it's funny because all other energy types get to feel peace, they get to feel surprise, they get to feel satisfaction. We projectors, when we're living our design correctly, we feel successful. And it's just kind of funny, but it's so true because we're always looking for the external validation. So as a projector, what you need to do is you need to start really seeing yourself as successful and as worthy of the money before it can show up. And that goes for everyone to a degree, but oh my God, projectors, you cannot skip this. You cannot bypass this, right? I tried to bypass it for so long. I was like, I'll feel worthy when I hit 10K months. I'll feel worthy when I've signed another one-on-one client. I feel worthy once I fill out a group program, right? I'll feel like I've made it as a coach or made it as an entrepreneur when this happens, right? And I was putting all of my kind of way to measure my success and how successful I felt as, you know, as my money, right? That was what it was contingent on. And that's so dangerous. And we can't do that, right? Because then what that does is it keeps you in this self-feeding cycle of the money's not coming in, so I must not be good at what I do, so I need to learn something else. And then, you know, I'll share it. And then if people, you know, then when people buy it, and then I'll feel good, and then I'll finally feel good. But really, you're not seeing yourself. So then when you go to share yourself publicly, right, like in a Facebook post or showcase it in some way, people, it's not going to land with people because the self-doubt is there and they're picking up on it, right? So you really have to validate the fuck out of yourself first. So projectors, your first question is, how can I validate myself and feel worthy of the money before it shows up, right? How can I validate myself and feel worthy of the money before it shows up? Another way you can look at this is, why am I worthy of receiving the money I desire right now? Why am I amazing, right? Asking yourself those kinds of questions and journaling on that, right? So that's your first prompt, projectors, is how can I validate myself and feel worthy of the money before it shows up? The second question for you is, or the second prompt for you is, I am worthy of money because, and then let it flow, right? Let that flow. This worthiness is really the underpinning of feeling successful, right? Of feeling worthy of the success. Because as a projector, I can tell you I've had a lot of successes in my life, but it wasn't until I started actually looking at why I was worthy of things that I could give myself credit for those successes I had, right? And so it's still something that I come back to, is really looking at my worthiness and validating the fuck out of myself, right? So that's your prompt for projectors. Projectors, let me know how that sits with you. Let me know if there's any questions. Alessandra said, I just had my client who is a projector do this, make a list of their internal validation and then a list of the external validations. Yeah, 100%. I actually really love, that's interesting you say that, Alessandra. So something I've been doing even recently was, I've always been doing this practice for like longer than I even really started leaning into my design. I've been doing these kind of self-value and self-worth practices, which are, again, valuable for anyone, but projectors, you really can't go without them. And to some degree or in some way, right? Excuse me, it's not a hard and fast rule, but you got to be validating yourself in some way, shape, or form every day. And just in general, that just needs to be your way of being, is just that self-validation, right? And so I've been doing this for a while, but it was interesting, 'cause while I've been doing this, like, why am I worthy? Why am I already successful? Blah, blah, blah. And been doing a lot of that stuff. I've recently started doing lists of all the invitations I receive, right? So all the people who are in my inbox who are asking me, you know, like, how's, you know, what about Money Matrix, or can you tell me about your one-on-one, or how do I book a human design reading with you, or do you want to be on my podcast, right? And I just make a list of all these invitations I receive, and then I continue. That's kind of that external evidence, but it's not the first thing, right? That's more kind of a cool proof to myself that living my human design really works, right? And so that's something that I kind of tend to lean into when I'm already feeling very self-validated and feeling very certain and confident in myself. And then I kind of look at, what are all the invitations I received? And it's kind of a fun thing to look at, right? So it's not necessary right now for you guys projectors, but it's kind of a fun thing to look at, is once you do start actually living your design and fully honoring your energy as a projector, you get to start looking at all of the invitations that come in, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun to see how it shifts everything and how all of a sudden there's people in your inbox asking to work with you or asking for more info, right? Yeah, Terry says, yeah, I've been keeping a monthly invitation list received and those that I am calling, allowing in. Yeah, the only thing is just to make sure you're not looking at that if it's a shorter list than you want and going, why the fuck aren't the invitations coming, right? Because then we start getting bitter again and doubting ourselves. So it always has to start with the self-validation, right? So with those 2 journaling prompts I gave you just now. Okay, lastly, reflectors. I don't know if any reflectors are live on this call. We only have like 3 in this group because you guys are very rare. But your not self-theme, like we talked about in module 1, is disappointment, right? This kind of disappointment in the environment you're in the energy that you're picking up, in the way that life is playing out for you in your environment with other people, with your online environment, with your physical environment, right? And so really, as a reflector, you need to start getting really clear on how you're attaching your identity to money, because as a reflector, your power is in not really having one set identity, because again, as a reflector, your kind of almost design almost shifts with each phase of the moon, meaning every day there's different aspects of your design that are being highlighted or that are more prominent or that are kind of more activated. And so for you, you're not always the same version of you every single day, right? Like you have these different facets of yourself that come out at, throughout the month, right? And so for you, if you start attaching your identity to money, which is more of this kind of like constant, stagnant, static thing, you're giving away so much of your power as a reflector and so much of your ability to be so adaptable and be such a source to mirror to people back what they're doing to them, right? So your signature theme is surprise, because when you're allowing yourself to be very flowy, when you're allowing yourself to flow with the cycles of the moon, when you're allowing yourself to just flow with the energy of other people, what happens is you feel surprised, because the world starts to surprise you, because you start to actually engage with it in a way where new people can come into it, or your environment shifts, and you start to be surprised and delighted by the things that the universe is bringing you, right? And that life is bringing you, and that you're experiencing from day to day as you shift day to day. So the big thing that I want you to remember for reflectors is looking at this first prompt: what do I need to believe or remember so that I can detach my identity from money? Right? And again, this might resonate with other people, but reflectors, holy crap, this is so important for you. You have to be willing to detach your identity from money, right? In any way, shape, or form that you've done it, right? You can't just look at yourself and be like, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a 6-figure business owner, or blah, blah, blah. Trying to always cling to that identity and making that how you identify yourself and see yourself is so limiting for you, and it cuts you off to so many of your natural, amazing powers, right? So that first question is, what do I need to believe or remember so that I can detach my identity from money? Hey, Paula. Getting a drink. And then the second prompt for you reflectors is, I feel uplifted around money when I think about blank, right? So when I think about the money that I donate to charities, that makes me feel uplifted. Or when I think about all the ways that money can come to me, or how exciting it is to help people in my business or whatever, I feel so uplifted, right? So those are your prompts. I'm going to post all the prompts in the description above, in the comments below, right? And you guys can go at it. If you get them in today, if you kind of post them today, what your responses to these questions are, to today's homework, I will be checking in later today or else early tomorrow morning, and just kind of wrapping up with any of the posts I've seen. If you don't see a response from me on any of your posts, go ahead and tag me in them. But again, after like early tomorrow morning or else late tonight, I'm not guaranteeing what time it'll stop. The support in here ends, because this is a free program and I can't always give all this free support to you guys just energetically, especially as a projector. I can't keep always showing up, but I've had so much fun with you guys this week. This has been amazing. Thank you guys for being here. I really was like, maybe we'll get 50 people in the free program, because I promoted it for like a day or two. And now we have over 100, almost 180 people. We're at 177 people in this group of people taking this free program. So this has just been so much fun. It's been such an honor to guide you through this and to be able to support you. And I thank those of you who continue to share openly in the group, because it is vulnerable. It is scary to talk about this. But like I was saying in Module 2, it's so important for us to talk about these things. If we want to really normalize money and not make it such a taboo, make it something that we're so attached to and that really limits us, right? So those of you who want to take this a step further, who want to learn your own personalized energetic blueprint for money, come join me in the Money Matrix. If you can't find the info for it, feel free to DM me and just ask me for the info on the Money Matrix, and I will send you the link with all the info and sign up page for it. I cannot wait. We start August 17th for this first round of Money Matrix, and it's a freaking steal of a price. So get in now before I potentially cap it, depending on how many more signups we have in the next week or so. But I can't wait to get started with you guys. And just remember that all that human design is here to do is just help you be more of you, help you find more freedom and more limitlessness in your life, with money, in your business, whatever it is. And just know that the more that you allow yourself to do what feels good, the more that you allow yourself to honor your energy and meet yourself where you're at every day, instead of pushing yourself to show up a certain way or pressuring yourself to show up a certain way or subscribing to rules that don't feel good. The more that you can stop doing all that and allow yourself to just be you, the more things are going to naturally flow, regardless of what energy type you are or what your design is, right? So I have loved doing this. Thank you for being here. Come join me in the Money Matrix if you want to keep the ball rolling and really not only learn how to, like we did here, unplug from your old beliefs, but instead actually tap into the flow of money and learn how you specifically are designed to really up your income. So I can't wait for Money Matrix. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you all later.